For decades, cybersecurity has kind of felt like a game of digital whack-a-mole, right? A threat pops up, and we smack it down. But what if? What if you could see where the mole was going to pop up next? Today, we're going to look at a huge shift in how we defend our digital lives, moving from just reacting to attacks to actually predicting them. See, the old way has always been reactive. It's like a fire alarm that only goes off after the fire has started. The new frontier, though, is all about being proactive. It's about knowing the burglars on their way before they even get to your street. And this isn't just about a new piece of software. It's a completely different way of thinking, a fundamental change from defense to preemption. So why is this shift so important right now? Well, to be blunt, the old way just isn't cutting it anymore. We are in a constant and, honestly, a losing race against this overwhelming wave of digital threats that just keeps growing. I mean, the scale of the problem is just mind-boggling. We're not talking about a few dozen attempts here. We're talking about a relentless, automated storm of millions of attacks hitting organizations every single day. There is no human team on Earth, no matter how talented, that can keep up with that kind of volume. It's impossible. And being even one step behind has some pretty severe consequences. Reacting after the fact means you're already dealing with huge financial losses, you're dealing with devastating data breaches that leak sensitive info, and you're dealing with reputational damage that can take years to fix. Waiting to get hit is a strategy that's just doomed to fail. So, what's the answer? Well, this brings us to a new kind of defense, a proactive guardian that's powered by artificial intelligence. And this isn't just another tool in the toolbox, it's a whole new philosophy for security. And here it is, it's called CyberGuard AI. I want you to think of it like a digital sentinel that doesn't just stand there watching the walls. It uses its intelligence to understand enemy tactics, to predict their next move, and then to neutralize those threats automatically, in real time, often before a human analyst even gets their morning coffee. So how does it pull this off? Well, it's this awesome combination of powerful tech. You've got machine learning, which is great at spotting patterns that are totally invisible to us humans. Then there's natural language processing, which helps it read and understand threat reports from all over the world. And finally, automated orchestration is like the muscle. It connects all the security tools together so it can act on those insights instantly. Okay, so that's the what and the why. But how does this thing actually work? Let's pop the hood and take a look inside the engine to see how it goes from just raw data to an active defense. So it all starts by just drinking in data from everywhere, logs, network traffic, you name it. Then its machine learning models get to work, hunting for anything that looks weird or out of place. This is where the magic happens. It predicts what could happen next, and then, boom, it triggers an automated response, maybe isolating a laptop from the network. The human team sees this whole thing play out on a dashboard, and they can even ask the system questions in plain English, like, hey, show me all unusual activity from this afternoon. It's a complete, nonstop cycle of defense. Now, to really get why this is such a big deal, you have to think about the old way. In a typical security center, the time it takes from spotting a threat to actually doing something about it can be hours, or a lot of the time, even days. That's an eternity in cybersecurity. And this is the absolute game changer. CyberGuard AI crushes that response time from hours or days all the way down to a few seconds. That's the difference between putting out a small fire in a wastebasket and watching the entire building burn to the ground. That speed is a legitimate superpower. Okay, the technology is obviously really impressive, but what does this mean in the real world? Let's talk about the actual impact this has for companies, for security experts, and really for all of us. Now, this is so important. This is not about replacing humans. It's about making them better. It's about empowering them. By automating the millions of boring, routine alerts, it frees up those highly skilled analysts to focus on what humans do best: complex investigations, strategic planning, and hunting down the really sophisticated threats. So yeah, the advantages are pretty clear. You've got that proactive prediction we talked about. The system is scalable, so it can grow as a company grows. It's way more cost efficient than just hiring more and more people. It gives you this real-time picture of what's happening. And this is a big one for the pros. It integrates with the MITRE ATT&CK framework. Think of that as a giant encyclopedia of every known cyber attack technique, so everyone's speaking the same language.
And of course, it really all comes down to the bottom line, doesn't it? By stopping those breaches before they can do any damage and preventing that costly downtime, the potential savings are just massive. We're talking millions of dollars that can go back into the business instead of into recovery efforts, or worse, a ransom payment.
And beyond just fighting the bad guys, a system like this is also crucial for business. It gives companies a provable way to show they're protecting data, which is absolutely essential for meeting major regulations. Think GDPR over in Europe, or HIPAA for protecting patient health info in the US. It's all about being a good, responsible steward of people's private information.
So as we wrap this up, it leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. As these defensive AIs become the new standard, won't the attackers just respond with their own AI-driven attacks? Are we heading towards a future where the main battle for our digital safety is this constant, invisible war fought in milliseconds between competing AIs? It's a pretty deep thought, and it's one that systems like CyberGuard AI are forcing us all to think about right now.